You're tuned in to the Baltimore Brothers on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Good evening, Baltimore City. I want to thank you all for tuning in to our commercial live cast of our program that we're about to run tomorrow at 6 p.m. Our program is entitled Women and Girls in Violence. Our goal is to bring this to a halt and to bring some peace in our families and our communities. As we know, the woman is the foundation of our families, so we must protect our women and girls. I have the honor of introducing 5 fabulous women that's going to come before us tomorrow at 6 p.m. But today, you're going to hear a few words from them about their stories, their personal lives, and some of the work they're doing in the community. I just want everybody out there to know that's watching this, that we are taking this serious. We've been spending a lot of time and bringing our questions and our statements and our stories and information together. So these women in front of me on the side, we have 2 more that's going to be here later today as well as tomorrow. But these are women that are doing the work in the community. They've been in prison, they've been in jail, they've been in juvenile justice system, they've been on both sides of the street, both sides of the coin, let me say that. But before we get started, I have a gentleman who I've been working with, I want to say the last 4 or 5 years now, maybe a little longer. But I always heard great things about his organization and the work that they did in our community. And we finally got to connect, so I'm honored to bring on one of the Baltimore City Youth Fund's representative who's doing great work in our community in multiple areas. I wanted to introduce Mr. Davon Love, who's going to give you a backdrop of the relationship with Baltimore Brothers as well as the work that Baltimore City Youth Fund is doing. Brother Davon, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate
yes, sir.
The invitation. Greetings, everybody that is listening. My name is Davon Love. I'm the Community Engagement Lead for the Baltimore City Children and Youth Fund. This was a fund that was created in 2015 through a charter amendment spearheaded by then Council President Jack Young, and then eventually voted on by the voters of Baltimore City in November 2016. A fund that would allocate 3% of the city's property tax dollars to a non-lapsing fund exclusively for programs supporting children and youth. And so that amounts to about $12 million a year. One of the biggest aspects of the program that the Youth Fund wants to offer is around technical assistance. And essentially what I mean by that is that we have a lot of people in our city that are interested in doing things to empower our community, to help our youth, but they may need some additional skills, support, things that would help them be able to be better practitioners, better community members. And so what the Youth Fund has done is created a series of programming that is free to the public that provides some technical assistance, some experts from within the community, because too often those that are deemed experts about our condition in many contexts tend not to be our people from our community, that our expertise tends to get overlooked. So the Youth Fund intends on going into our community, looking for those who are experts on the things that impact our communities and provide them the platform and opportunity to share that expertise with the larger community. And so the relationship with Baltimore Brothers and the Youth Fund is when we recognize the years of work that the folks at Baltimore Brothers have done as it relates to dealing with violence in our community. And so the Youth Fund is honored to partner with Baltimore Brothers in providing a weekly series of conversations and support sessions for those who want help in addressing particular areas of violence in our community. Baltimore Brothers, in partnership with the Youth Fund, has actually done some programming around violence in the school environment, or violence dealing with gang and clique activity. And as Brother Andrew just mentioned, this week is about the violence that is directed particularly at women and girls. And so the Youth Fund is honored to be partnering with Baltimore Brothers and the sisters that you'll hear from in talking about this particular topic. And again, we implore the public to take advantage. If you want to participate, please go to bcyfund.org. There you can register for the webinar and participate. Again, it's bcyfund.org. for you to register and participate. And with that, I'll pass it back to Brother Andrew.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Davon. Man, that was awesome. And also, you can go on all Baltimore Brothers social media platforms on IG, Baltimore Brothers Inc., and then also same as Facebook, Baltimore Brothers Inc. Just hit it in and put it in the search engine and it'll pop right up. So we're going to get right into it. We don't have a lot of time today, but we're going to be real strong. We're going to get right to the point, and thank you all for being patient. So the first leader that we're going to start with tonight is going to be Miss Monica Cooper, who spent several years in prison. Now she's home giving back. Me and her do a lot of work together in the community, whether it be male or female. If a young man is going through some troubles, if it's been a shooting with something that's happening in the community, if any women that's involved, I call her and she helps me out right away. So it was an honor for me to pick Miss Monica. I'm super thankful that she agreed to do this presentation, do this session with us. So Miss Monica, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So if you can, tell us a little bit about, just take a couple minutes and talk about the women and girls and the violence that's happening in our city. What can we do to make a difference? What can we do to make our city safe for our women and children, our women and girls? But more importantly, just give us your idea, your aspect, and what that look like. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to be brief, but the first thing I want to say is I am happy and grateful that this situation that's going on with young women and girls is getting the attention that it deserves, because to have 40 and 50 women and girls murdered in 1 year, that's unheard of. And we continue to see the increase. It's not on a decline. It's something that is driving the violence that's now turned towards women and girls. Many years ago, that was unheard of for women and girls to be murdered in the way that they are, or be victims in the way that they are now. So I am really grateful that attention is being paid to, especially since, with my organization, the Maryland Justice Project, we work with women and girls incarcerated and formerly incarcerated. And one thing I'd like to share with the listening audience is that, from my own experience and from what I know about women being, in the streets or living certain lifestyles or even having certain friends, that kind of puts you in a position where you got to be a little more thorough than your male counterparts. So it causes you to have to go that extra mile. It's almost like, women want to gain respect from men. If I'm out here in the streets with you, then we are on equal footing. And it's almost the same with two guys. If two guys are, like I'm thorougher than you, I'm bigger than you, I'll take advantage of you, I'll take your lunch money. So when it comes to women that are, living certain lifestyles or that's caught up, on the streets or whatever, she actually has to go an extra mile to kind of demonstrate that you're not going to take advantage of me. You're not going to take, anything from me. And unfortunately, that stems from relationships, male-female relationships, mother-daughter relationship, father-daughter relationship. When you have, abandonment issues, and when you have all sorts of hurt and pain, you start to look elsewhere to figure out where I got to get in, where I fit in. So there are, groups of individuals who are in a lot of pain, and they find comfort with each other. And you generally have one leader of that pack. And it's usually, like they used to tell us when we was younger, if you're having a problem with a whole bunch of girls, punch the one in the mouth that seemed to be the chief. You go and punch the one in the mouth that seemed to be the chief leader, and the rest of them will back up. And that's how we, I guess it's just human nature that we roll in cliques and we roll in packs. So if I had to say anything about what's going on, and it seems kind of simple, but it is definitely relationships. Awesome. And how we respect one another, and how we treat one another, and how we value one another. But when you all pained up and everything, we don't know how to have relationships. If my mother been getting high for the most of my life, I don't have a relationship with her. I don't know what it's like. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't have that relationship.
Yes, ma'am. We gonna get more into that. Y'all see Miss Monica on fire, right? We're gonna get more into that. So we want to go right to the next speaker, which is gonna be Miss Lisa, who's the CEO and the founder of Let's Thrive Baltimore. Is that right, Lisa?
Yeah.
And Lisa has spent time in prison, but she came home and she's doing a lot of work with our youth, our boys and girls, and she knows a lot about the violence that's happening amongst our women, our girls. She played a major role in it at one point, but now she's giving back. So Lisa, talk to us about what you see and about the women and the girls in this with the violence, please.
Absolutely. First of all, my name is Lisa Moloch, and I'm just excited. I'm happy that Baltimore Brothers and Baltimore Youth Fund is focusing on women and girls. This is March and this is Women's Month, so it's very important that we make sure that we focus and we find solutions to help our young girls to heal. Myself, I've been impacted by several types of violence as a young girl. Human trafficking violence, dating violence, gun violence. I actually jumped out of a third-story window at 16 to prevent myself from being shot. I've had friends in the back of my car where the gun went off and bullet holes went through my chair, but it didn't touch me, because God had a plan for my life, and I knew that it was good and not evil. I just recently worked with a family of a 13-year-old girl who was shot in front of one of our rec centers. And she was 13. She died. I lost the love of my life of 17 years to gun violence. My niece was just murdered in the middle of COVID in 2020. A female shot in the head. We were at the hospital praying that they would say that she wasn't gone. But she was gone, and she wasn't coming back. We was wishing it was a mistake. See, so when Capt asked me to do this segment, it's personal for me, and I really want to do any and everything that I can do to help these young girls. There's a lot of young girls and women in my program that's been impacted by violence, and we focus on helping them to sustain in their own lives, to help them with jobs, to help them with their credit. Because a lot of times, a lot of women are in a home by themselves and they're single parents raising a family. So it's really crucial that we find solutions to help our women to heal and to give them solutions to their problems so that they can thrive in life.
Thank you. That was powerful. I'm looking forward to part 2 of this on tomorrow at 6 p.m. We're going to Davon Love he's going to close us out with the information. So we want everybody to log on and register again tomorrow, later on today. But this next sister, excellent. So this next sister who's getting ready to come on, I've been working for her for about 20 years now. And I've been watching her save women's lives. I mean, literally save young women's lives and older women just with knowledge. And every now and then I'll have somebody come up to me and tell me, Sister Chanel is giving me therapy and she's counseling me. I'm like, what? So this is the kind of person that Sister Chanel is. She goes above and beyond, and she's like the matriarch for 2 families, really 3. But the bottom line is, Sister Chanel, talk to us about the mentality of these women and girls and this violence, and what kind of mindset that a person had to take on. That what Sister Monica talked about, that I'm your equal as a man. That's a hell of a mentality to take on, because I'm big and I'm better and I got guns and I got money. So talk to us about the mentality, please.
Yes, I want to follow up with Sister Lisa and Sister Monica. First, thank Brother Andrew and Baltimore Brothers, Brother Davon and Baltimore Youth Fund. But when we talk about the mentality of women, we talk about the breakdown of family. And a lot of times when we see these situations occur with women, with girls, the question becomes, what's wrong with you? When in reality, the question should be, what happened to you? A lot of our girls grow up into adulthood, but have been conditioned from little girls to accept violence as a normal part of life. Whether you've seen your mother being beaten, your next door neighbor being beaten, but it has become such a natural part of the order of how we live. It's like anything else. If no one has shown you a different lifestyle, a different way of living, then you don't know there is a different way of living. But I will tell you, one of the biggest contributing factors to this cycle of violence among women and girls is this. Yes, silence. I know you was looking like, oh, did I forget? No, I didn't forget to say anything. It's silence.
Wow.
We don't talk about it. We will put up PSAs to turn in guns. We will put up PSAs for birth control. We'll put up PSAs for everything. But you don't see a PSA up for women if you're in an unsafe place. They don't have cards and pamphlets when you go to the doctors. They may bring in a social worker to ask you some questions, but really, who's going to do that? Where are the PSAs? Where is the public announcements? Where is the public health outcry that this is becoming an epidemic among women and girls? Our silence is contributing. Whether it's the silence in the homes, the silence in the schools, the silence in the communities, the silence in legislation. If we don't speak for the voiceless, how will we ever expect them to speak for themselves? So no, I'm not asking a woman who is in an abusive relationship, oh, just come forward. Tell us who he is. Just leave him. She needs an advocate. She needs a voice. She needs a safe space. She needs a place to go. And until we can create an environment where women and girls feel safe to come forward, where they know there won't be repercussions, they don't go back to these environments, we're going to stay in this cycle of violence. So I'm asking everyone to register for both of these sessions and lend your voice. Lend your voice so that those who cannot speak for themselves will have a voice.
Awesome, man. That was heavy right there. You helped me out with something. Silence.
Yes, silence.
And I can't wait for part 2 to you finish that up, Sister Chanel. So our last speaker for today, not tomorrow, but for today, is Pastor Ebony Harvin, who is really boots on the ground when it comes to our girls and our women. And unfortunately, she deals with a lot of shootings. She calls me all the time about it. And, you know, I want to say the last 2 years, Davon, we've been averaging about 50 something women that's been murdered and over 100 shot. That's a lot. And we'll have the correct data tomorrow. But Sister Ebony, Pastor Ebony, how do we deal with that, with these women being gunned down, with these women being shot, with women carrying guns, and the continuous cycle of it's like every week a woman is being shot or murdered. How do we deal with that? How do we help our young girls out, that school age children, teenagers, and they watching their friends get gunned down and shot up, and we burying women now with bullet holes in them?
And I'll say this, first, I want to give honor to God and give honor to all of you all that's sitting on the panel. But one thing is about trust and loyalty. And one thing that Sister Chanel mentioned, that is silent, but as in Black homes, what goes in a house stays in a house. And we have to teach our kids, no, if your stepfather, uncle is touching you, somebody need to know. So we need to be their outlet. And I thank God for just being able to interact with a lot of young ladies and ladies, you know. And a lot of times when I say that is that trust plays a major role, because if I can trust you, I'm going to pull on you. I'm going to give you everything that I'm dealing with. And right now, once these ladies start to trust someone and have that to-go-to person, or as one of you guys said, that safe house, that safe place, they'll open up. And I think that right there will begin to change a lot of things. Once you have somebody trust, you can help change their mindset. Even a lot of things that I experience, and one thing that I experienced growing up, the molestation, being violated, being raped, it wasn't easy, and back then, what goes in a house stays in a house, and a lot of times our young ladies are not able to live, and we have to teach them how to live. As one of you guys mentioned, building that relationship. It's all about building a relationship. It's about the young lady starting to trust you. And then one thing that I'll say this, a lot of our young ladies attach themselves to young men that's in the street, and they're looking for that protection because they did not get a chance to have that protection in their home. And what I'm speaking about, I'll speak from experience. What I experienced of being violated, I attached myself to young men that was in the streets. And when you attach yourself to young men that's in the streets, you know what comes with it. However, at that time, back then, the popular drug dealer or whatever, because of what went on in my home, I didn't feel safe. I went looking for somebody to protect me. And me looking for that person to protect me, yes, I experienced the violence. I experienced being in an abusive relationship, and it was hard. So one thing that we have to do with our young ladies, we have to be real with them. We have to listen to them, have to be their ear, because so many of our females and young ladies are dealing with childhood trauma. And dealing with childhood trauma, they don't have a person, as I mentioned, a to-go-to person, because it's one of these things when they let somebody know their business, somebody else know their business. And we, as a people, as each one of us on this panel, when we begin to speak to these young ladies and they begin to pour into our lives, we gotta get on our knees and give it to God, but figure out which way we can help them. We have to be their solution, because they don't know which way to go. They don't. So, Cap, I just want to say I thank you, and I just want to encourage each and every person that's listening, please register for this conference, because we are going to be the change that our city need. Our young ladies need someone that they can look up to, and we are going to be that change that they need. And right now, I'll say one more thing. They need a mother figure. And daddies, your little girls, these young ladies out here are crying for their father figures. That's why they're getting attached to that young man that's in the street. They're looking for their father. They need that father figure. As they say, the young ladies, that mother's boy and daddy's little girl, a lot of our young ladies getting attached to that popular drug dealer, because guess what? They're looking for that father figure. They're looking for somebody to guide them. They're looking for somebody to lead them. So we have to change the mindset and let them know, look, young men, okay, that may not be my daughter, but guess what? I'm gonna be that father figure. I'm not gonna touch them, I'm not gonna molest them, but I'm gonna be that father figure that they need. So please register for this conference, register for this conference. And I'm excited, and one thing I'll say that I believe in God that we are gonna be the change that Baltimore City needs to see. We're gonna have so many young ladies that's gonna let that street life go because of things that we experienced.
Thank you very much, Pastor. And I want to thank Coyote Show Network for giving us this format, and we absolutely coming back. But I want to give everybody information, bcyfund.org/events. So you'll hear more from us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you very, 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 very much. Peace. We out.
Hello, I'm Barbie Johnson.
And I am Tisha Winkler.
We're the Book Breakers, and our show is every Wednesday at 5:30. Today we have with us Miss Lynette Shaw. She does taxes, she's a notary, and she repairs credit. Miss Shaw, where can they find you?
Yes, you can go to ShawTaxSolution.com or you can Google Shaw Tax Solution, and I'm located in Rosedale, Maryland.
And remember, it's tax time. So use the one the book breakers trust. Lynette Shaw. Shaw Tax Solution.
You're watching the Book Breakers on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Shaw Tax Solution.
Oh.
Shaw Tax Solution.
Yeah.
Shaw Tax Solution.
Ooh.
Shaw Tax Solution.
Yeah.
Shaw Tax Solution.
Woo.
Shaw Tax Solution.